We will start out straight with the price action on the Euro monthly chart, as you can see. And if we take the FIB tool to measure the premium and discount, right? We take the monthly swing high to the monthly swing low, then we pull the FIB, and you can see that everything above the 0.5 level is the premium, the monthly premium, and everything below is the monthly discount, right? And as you can see on the monthly, the first PD array we have is this monthly fair value gap right here. And as you can see, we traded into that monthly fair value gap during April and May. And if we then go down to the weekly, we can also see that we have a volume imbalance here, and we also have this swing high right here. But for now, we will focus on this monthly imbalance right here. So on the weekly, we can see that we had this weekly swing high, which is the buy side, right, resting right below this monthly fair value gap. And as you can read in the PDF of this course, I've talked about swing highs resting next to fair value gaps. So in this example, we have the weekly swing high and the monthly imbalance right here. And we trade through that high, and we tag that, or almost tag that monthly imbalance. And then in the following up weeks, we take out the buy side once again, right? So at this point, we now have our weekly dealing range right here, right? We have the swing low right here, we swing high right here, and now we can also pull a FIB here to determine the premium and discount of this range, right? If we then go down to the daily time frame, so we can see that we, on the daily, we have here the weekly high, we take that high out, and then we had this last swing low right here, which is also the swing low which created this last high here, which is taking liquidity from this level. And you can also see how we perfectly respect that 0.5 level of this monthly fair value gap, right? And if we then add the DXY, the dollar index, to this chart, you can see that when we look, we compare the highs of the euro with the lows of the DXY, you can see that we made a low here, so we made a lower low here and a higher high on euro. But then once euro made a higher high, taking out, rating the buy side right into this fair value gap, you can see that the dollar index failed to make a lower low. So at this point, we have an S&T divergence, right? Or at least we can anticipate at this point an S&T divergence. An S&T divergence, as I told you, if we anticipate a market maker model or a shift in the order flow at a higher time frame key level, we can then anticipate, or we can use S&T as a confluence to frame a higher time frame shift in order flow, right? So at this point, we could anticipate an S&T here, but to confirm the S&T, we first of all need a shift in order flow on the daily chart here. So to confirm a shift in order flow here, I would like to see a close below the body or the wick of this last down close candle and this swing low right here. So we have S&T here, potential S&T with DXY right here. And then you can see in the following up days, we also get a close below this candle. And at this point, for me, the daily order flow has shifted to the bearish side, right? So we are now in a bearish order flow, and we can look for shorts aiming for the sell side of those lows here, right? So we mark out the higher time frame. This is now a breaker block, right? We make a low, higher high, we break below the low, so now this is a breaker, and you can see how we respect the lower half of this PD array. We always want to see a reaction in the lower half of a bearish PD array or an inversion PD array. In this case, we have a daily breaker block, and you can see how we retrace in the lower half of this breaker block, and then we get displacement to the downside, and we have a fair value gap right here. So this fair value gap is being left open. Why? Because this is a breakaway gap. How can you anticipate a breakaway gap? Because we have a range here. Price is leaving that range, and if price is leaving a range with this placement, you can anticipate that the first fair value gap will usually act as a breakaway gap and will be left untapped. Then you can see how we displace lower again, and we also close below this order block. So those two down close candles create one bullish order block, and once we close below, they turn as well into a breaker block, right? So we have a breaker block here, and if we look on the sell side now of this curve, right, we have the buy side here. All of this is the buy side, and this is the sell side, right? So we have this inversion level, which is the breaker block, and now we also have on the sell side a fair value gap right here. And you can see how we on the following day we trade into that fair value gap, we respect the breaker, we close within the lower half of the breaker, and then we get the sell-off and we take out the swing low here and the swing low, which is also the first swing low resting right in the discount of this range, and we take this out as well. So you could have used this POI here, the breaker block, and this fair value gap on the daily to look for lower time frame trades aiming into those lows right here. How we frame lower time frame trades according to the daily bias, we will get into that soon, but for now I will just want to give you an idea how we use the daily chart to determine order flow and to get our daily bias, which will be the most important thing going forward when we determine our intraday trades and our directional bias, right? So we had the sell-off right here from this fair value gap, taking out the sell side right here, and we also trade right into the discount of this entire range. And after we had 3 expansion candles to the downside, we then see a retracement candle on the daily and also a consolidation candle. So a consolidation candle, why? Because you can see the candle body of this wick is almost at the same price. The open price is almost at the same price as the closing price, right? So the candle body is relatively small compared to the other bodies of the daily candles, right? So this is a consolidation daily profile, and after the consolidation we again get 3 expansion candles to the downside, right? And we then take out the sell side below the swing low as well, right? So now we can see that we are trading already in quite a deep discount of this range, and we now have to consider that we might see a consolidation and a possible reversal happening here. And also, if we take a look, we have a daily order block right here. So this is a daily order block. Why? Because this is also a high probability order block because we have taken liquidity. You can see we've taken liquidity of this swing low and this swing low, and then we had the break of structure above this high, which created the impulse to the downside, right? So this is a high probability order block, and we ideally, I told you, here we want to see the lower half being respected. In this case, you want to see price respecting the upper half and not closing below the 0.5 level of this order block here, right? We also have a volume imbalance right here, which is also aligning with the upper half of this daily bullish order block, right? So we have PD area alignment here, we have multiple PD areas aligning, and if we are bullish here, we might want to use this POI here as our higher time frame POI to look for a potential accumulation happening here, and then we see a reversal, and we can aim for potentially those equal highs here. And if we go on the weekly again, we also have a volume imbalance right here, so we mark that out with a volume imbalance right here, which is still unmitigated, right? Price has not traded into it besides here. So we also have a weekly swing high, so we have buy side resting inside of this volume imbalance, right? So we have the volume imbalance right here, and this buy side right here, and also the equal highs. And if we take a look at the weekly, we are still in a bullish order flow. We're making higher highs, higher lows. We break old highs, making a higher high, and now we want to see if price can make a higher low right here, and then aiming for the buy side here, and eventually the buy side resting above this weekly swing high right here. So now what we can see as well, if we look at the weekly chart, we have an old volume imbalance right here, and we close below, so this is now an inverted volume imbalance. So if price is trading up here, we ideally don't want to see a weekly or daily close above this level, and we want to see price using this level as resistance to sell off and trading on the daily deeper into this order block, and eventually into this volume imbalance right here. So now if we take a look at the daily again, the daily chart, we look at the sell side of the curve. What PD areas do we have here? So we have on the sell side, we have this inverted volume imbalance, and on the sell side, so the present side of the current order flow, we have those two up closed candles. And if we have a bearish order flow, all up closed candles should act as a resistance in price, and ideally we don't want to see price closing above the up closed candles, right? Ideally we see a rejection from the middle or the lower half again of this PD area here, right? So now we have the daily PD areas. We have the daily order block right here, the bearish order block. We have this inverted volume imbalance, and we also have our bullish PD areas, which is this volume imbalance and this bullish daily order block, right? And as I told you, we now want to look if we can frame a possible reversal here, and then we're taking out or aiming for all of those buy side highs here, and eventually if we confirm the bullish order flow and we confirm the weekly higher low being placed here, we then will also aim for the equal highs right here, and as we've also marked out, the weekly buy side right here, which is resting inside of this weekly volume imbalance, right? We want to see a higher low being formed here, but on the daily we are still being bearish, and now we want to wait if we can see if we can get a consolidation here and then a shift in order flow on the daily to then look for bullishness on euro, right? And how we will do that, that will be the topic of the following up videos.